Hello, my name is Fox and you're watching Den of Fools. Let's jump right in. In week 42 of 2024, we had 145 tournaments with a total of 2,973 players and 11,307 games played. Some tournaments are using the updated points, however, as the majority were using the old points and rules, we will have to wait until next week before we get the initial impressions of the new meta. This set of data will serve as a good example of what was doing well before the changes were made. We have roughly the same number of tournaments as last week, but with far more players, suggesting that there are more larger events this time out. With that said, as usual, the Space Marines top the charts, with 23 wins and 79 top 3 placings. Their weighted place of 21.3 is a fair bit worse than the 15.5 we got last week. This weighted placing makes a lot more sense, and confirms to me that they only managed to get such a low score last week as there were more smaller tournaments. Please stay tuned till later on in the video, where we will cover the placing and win rates of the divergent chapters. The Necrons are in second with 12 wins, 35 top 3s and a weighted place of 14.6. They have a very good week, getting the most big tournament wins other than the Space Marines, who manage it through sheer weight of numbers. Guard come third with 11 wins, 31 top 3s and a weighted place of 14.8. This result confirms that the majority of tournaments are still using the old rules, as we're only doing well with heavy Bulgarian lists which got a big points increase. Tau come next with 10 wins, 25 top 3s and a weighted place of 14.1, which is a good result for them. As a Tau player, I am interested to see if any crew armies will start seeing play when the point changes take effect. The Tyranids get 9 wins, with 29 top 3s and a weighted place of 16.4. They have dropped back from last week, but only by a little bit. Chaos Space Marines get 8 wins, with 21 top 3s and a weighted place of 17.4. After a few buffs, I am sure Chaos Space Marine players will hopefully remain in the blue group for the time being. The remaining two factions in blue both get 7 wins, with the Death Guard getting 22 top 3s and Demons getting 16. The Demons have a much better weighted placing with 12, which is the second best overall, although they didn't get any wins at the larger tournaments. Imperial Knights top the green group with 6 wins, 17 top 3s and a weighted place of 17.5. Admech also gets 6 wins with 9 top 3s and a weighted place of 8.7, which is the best overall. Their small player base does help them achieve such low weighted placings, but it is a very impressive result regardless. All of the remaining factions in green get 5 wins, being ranked by the number of top 3 placings. The Thousand Sons and World Eaters both get 19 top 3s, with the Thousand Sons getting a marginally better weighted placing with 21.6 compared to 25. The Grey Knights and Orcs both get 15 top 3s, with weighted places of 16.8 and 23.6 respectively. The Custodians get 14 top 3s with a weighted place of 21.2. The Drukhari manage 11 top 3s, but they do get the third best weighted placing this week with 13.6. Sisters are the last faction in green, with 10 top 3s and a weighted place of 18.6. We have 4 factions in yellow, with between 3 and 1 wins. The Imperial Agents are the only faction in red, unfortunately missing out on a win. 24 factions manage at least 1 top 10 placing, with the Space Marines getting the most top 10s with 256. Tyranids are in second with 97 top 10 placings. Guard are in third on 89 top 10 placings. The Space Marines are the most played faction with 17.96% of all players taking them. Necrons are the second most popular on 7.06%. Tyranids are in third on 6.59%. I would have expected the Necrons to do a bit better on the top 10s, considering they are the second most popular. It takes our resident stats guru and Ultramarine fanboy Fearless Fox many hours to collect all the data. It would be great if you could show your appreciation by liking and sharing the video. It really helps us with the God algorithm of YouTube. We have grouped the win rates by colour, with the key at the bottom of the screen. In the last week before the changes see play, the Gene Stealers topped the charts with a win rate of 54.9%. They did do a lot better at the smaller tournaments, where they got a win rate of 58.2%. The Thousand Sons come second this week, with a win rate of 51.8%, which is only a little bit lower than what they have been doing. Chaos Demons are close behind with a win rate of 51.7%, with the Imperial Knights on 51.5%. The Drukhari get a win rate of 51.3%, with the Sisters on 50.9%. Tyranids and Guard are the last factions in green, with win rates of 50.6 and 50.4 respectively. The Death Guard top the yellow group with a win rate of 49.6%, with the Grey Knights on 49.3%. The Eldari on 48.7%, while the World Eaters get a win rate of 48.6%. Admech only managed a win rate of 47.6%, despite getting the best weighted placing this week. Chaos Space Marines get a win rate of 47.3%, with their Loyalist counterparts on 46.9%. Both Chaos Knights and Votan get a win rate of 46.3%, while Custodians and Tau are on 46.2%. The Orcs are the last faction in the Goldilocks zone, on a win rate of 45.9%. The Necrons get a surprisingly low 44.4%, with Imperial Agents on 44.2%. Before the changes take full effect, the game does look relatively well balanced. This is the last week before we reset the running total win rates. They do give a good indication of who was strong before this latest balance pass. The Thousand Sons finish at the top of the running total win rate with 54.5%. The Sisters are second with a win rate of 53.1%. Imperial Knights are in third place with a win rate of 51.9%. The Drukhari are in fourth with a win rate of 51.5%. Chaos Demons get a win rate of 50.7% after a few good weeks recently. The Guard have a win rate of 50.5%, with the World Eaters just getting in green on a win rate of 50%. The majority of factions are in yellow, with 3 full factions below the Goldilocks zone. Chaos Space Marines are on a win rate of 44.7%, with Orcs on a win rate of 44%. Imperial Agents are at the bottom, with a win rate of 43.5%. Looking at these win rates, I think GW have made a decent adjustment overall, other than Codex Space Marines, which we will cover next. We will have to wait and see how the points changes, erratas and FAQs affect the win rates going forward. Minus the single Deathwatch player, the Space Wolves are the winners this week, with a win rate of 56.1%. I can see why they've got some targeted nerfs. The Blood Angels come next, with a win rate of 48.3%. The Dark Angels get a win rate of 46%, with the Black Templars on a win rate of 45.7%. The Unknown Chapters managed a win rate of 42.4%, which makes Codex Space Marines the worst performing army this week. The Dark Angels just get the most wins with 6, with the Blood Angels and Codex Chapters getting 5. The Space Wolves get 4, and the Templars manage 2. The single Deathwatch player won a small 3-round tournament, leading to their 100% win rate and single win. I do think the changes to Space Marine Codex will have very little impact on the win rate of the Codex Chapters, and I imagine the Blood Angels do quite well when the Codex finally sees play next week. I think the Black Templars really got a rough deal from the balance update, getting such heavy nerfs when they weren't really doing very well in the first place. As others have speculated, I guess GW don't want players running hordes of Crusaders, but I personally don't see why not, when it is quite thematic and not super competitive anyway. The Space Wolves remain at the top of the running totals with a win rate of 53%. The Blood Angels are in second place with a win rate of 49.9%. The Black Templars finish with a win rate of 48.9%. The Deathwatch come next with a win rate of 48%, with the Dark Angels on 47.9%. The Codex Chapters are way down at the bottom, with a win rate of 39.3%, which really shows how much they have been struggling for over the 3-month period since the previous changes. Overall, Chaos Space Marines are on a win rate of 44.7%, with a very limited number of people playing Index Emperor's Children on a win rate of 46.4%. It'll be interesting to see how Chaos Space Marines fare after mostly getting buffs. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe, check out one of the videos on screen, and consider using our affiliate links in the description. Thank you for watching.